The problem with RFK Jr. is this. RFK Jr. Will say that he's not anti-vax. However, he will then say, well, he wants you to be able to choose whether or not you take vaccines or not. But here's the problem with that line of business, and here's why he has no business running any department related to health in any administration, be it state or at the federal level. The reason is this: vaccines won't work if you don't require their use. You should not be free to deny the polio, to say, I'm not going to take polio, I'm not going to get my kids the polio vaccine, I'm not going to get my kids the MMR vaccine. You should not be free to be able to opt your kids out of those things and then send your kids to school. Because if you do that, then you're not protecting the other people who are not able to take vaccines. Because if enough people are vaccinated against polio, against MMR, etc., if enough people have the vaccines, you get a herd immunity type going on where if there are people who can't take the vaccines, you don't give the diseases, the viruses, whatever, you don't give them enough time, enough abilities, enough pathways into the community to be able to get to the most vulnerable people. You want to reduce the vectors of transmission that can get to the vulnerable people who can't be vaccinated, and the only way to do that is by making sure that everybody else is vaccinated. So RFK Jr. can say all day long that he's not anti-vaccine, but if you're not pushing the idea, the accurate and correct idea, that the only way to have these vaccines be effective is by making sure that everybody who can take them does take them, guess what? You're anti-vaccine because you're anti what the vaccines are supposed to do and how they're supposed to work. If you're not pushing the vaccines to be administered in the way that they need to be, to have them be fully effective, to keep measles and mumps and rubella out of our schools, to keep polio from spreading, to keep all of these diseases that we've quashed out of, the public sphere, and protecting those people who legitimately can't take these vaccines, then you're not pro-vax, you are anti-vax by default. You might not be it in words, but you're anti-vax in actions. And that's the problem with RFK Jr. and why he absolutely should not be confirmed. Apparently, today, I haven't had the opportunity to watch his hearings today over his being grilled by the Senate or what have you. Apparently, he doesn't even know how Medicare and Medicaid works. How can you be in charge of any Department of Health in the federal level if you don't know how Medicare and Medicaid works? He's not qualified for the position. I mean, there are lots of other people who are also not qualified for the position. That being said, he's probably the worst of the worst. At least Pete Hegseth, for as horrible as Pete Hegseth is, and he absolutely should not have been confirmed, and he was the closest, vote that has ever happened, I think, on that confirmation for that position. He still is more qualified for his position than RFK Jr. is for the position he's been nominated for. And Pete Hegseth shouldn't be anywhere near that position, but at least he has some military service. RFK Jr. doesn't have the experience needed for the position whatsoever, even less so than old Petey boy. And that's saying a lot. Anyway, what do you think? If you disagree, leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and of course, have a good day.